become more productive or better at what we do, a book that has resonated with us, and the ideas that's being shared in that book can make us better professionals or better human beings. And last but not least, a proverb. And today we have some amazing material to share with you. But before we do that, let's first and foremost tell you about our winner of the Standup, Standout online course. Every week there is one winner. And if you want to get into the draw, the only thing you have to do is to share this episode now as you're watching it live, or share the episode, and please do tag us because some of the shares we might miss out on. If you're sharing it on Facebook, if you're sharing it on YouTube, or if you're sharing it on LinkedIn, please tag us. Giorgio Annu, good morning, my friend. Have a great week ahead. You too, and hope to see you soon. And let me now announce our winner of our competition. Her name is Nikki Agagliotti. She has shared it on LinkedIn. And Nikki, congratulations. Please get in touch with Melissa. You can find her through our post here, or she will find you. And you get access for a whole year to the Standup, Standout online course. So let's see if there's anyone else here before we start. I'll give it another few seconds. Please share this episode so we can touch more lives and more people. And let's start with our online course. Our online course, as you can see now from your screen, is from Patrick Renvoise. It is titled The Persuasion Code, the Neuroscience of Selling. And this course is based on a notion by a Nobel Prize winner, Daniel Kahneman, who talked about two brains. Yes, we have one brain, but it's two brains actually that we have. The primal brain, which is the subconscious part of our decisions, and the rational brain, which we have more moderate control over it. And the primal brain is a 500 million year brain, but the rational brain is only 5 million years old. So we have these two brains, and our aim today to understand is that if we want to persuade and influence people, either as speakers or either as salespeople, trusted advisors, we need to find ways to persuade the primal brain. And according to the author, there are 6 ways, and you will see them now on your screen, in order to to stimulate the primal brain. The first one is personal. The second is contrastable. The third one is tangible. The fourth one, as you can see, is memorable. The fifth one is visual. And the sixth one is emotional. I'm going to start with the first one, the personal. I'm going to give one example from each. The course is so rich in content, I would highly urge you to go on LinkedIn Learning and follow it. But because of time constraints, I'm going to be using one example from each in order to understand the main core of the course, which is how to influence the primal brain. Personal. Personal is all about the language that we use. Is it a you language? Is it all about your audience? Or is it a me language? Or is it all about me? Because as human beings, we're a bit self-centered. And if you go on to websites just to check, if you could pause this video, if you're watching it in recording, pause it and go onto your website to check it out. It's all about we are the best in, we are the first at. It's all about me, how I do it. Well, it took me many years to understand as a speaker that I might be standing center stage, but the star of the show is the audience. So have you researched your audience enough in order to talk their language? Are they saying clients or are they saying customers? Have you looked at their mission statement, values, and have you looked at what influenced them? What's the thorn in their back? What keeps them up at night? So if you start changing your language to a you language rather than a me language, your chances of influencing the mind becomes even stronger. So let's look at the second one. The second one, in order to get closer to the primal brain and influence it, is the contrastable one. So are you claiming the same thing as your competitors are? Because if you are, then there is no differentiation between yourself and your competitors. You're just another provider of that service or of that product with no visual contrast. And if I can tap into one example that we've all known for many years, or most of us have known, and the author mentions inside his course, is that Mercedes-Benz are very safe cars, but they are not tapping into the safety when they are advertising, because Volvo has managed to get there first. So what does Mercedes do? They talk about engineering. What does BMW do? They talk about the ultimate experience of driving, because the mind can capture one thing and it attributes it to one person or one company. So in other words, find out what your competitors are claiming, and if they claimed it first, or if they claim it in a better way, don't claim that as well. Let's move on to the third one. The third one is tangible. And by tangible, I mean the following. No audience has said, I wish your message was so hard on my brain that I cannot understand it. What does the audience need? They need a succinct message that is easily digestible and that they can understand in milliseconds. When I went to speak at Google, I spent some time with the sales team. And I remember them telling me that one of the questions they ask during the interview process in order to get great salespeople on board or great trusted advisors on board is the following. How would you sell Google AdWords to a 3-year-old? Because a 3-year-old understands something that is succinct, that is not complicated, and that is visual. Because a 3-year-old has only a primal brain, because their rational brain is not yet constructed. They cannot rationalize as easy as a grown-up would. So how would you sell Google AdWords, or how would you sell your services or your product to a 3-year-old? Which takes us to the next one, which is memorable. What will people remember because of your message? People will remember the position of the stimulus. People remember the first things that you've said and the last things that you have said in your statement or in your speech. People won't remember everything. Think about it. When you started reciting the alphabet, did you get it right immediately? No, you remember part of the beginning and part of the ending, but you had to go and practice it. So people remember the first part and the last part. First impression lasts, as the proverb says, but last impression counts. So I always say to my students in seminars and workshops that if you walk away with 20 to 30% of what we've said today, we are winners. Because I know that even the best lecturers on earth, or the best professionals, or the best salespeople cannot drive 100% into the mind of the person, because there is too much information stored in our brain and it's very difficult for people to remember. But there is one way for people to remember, which is the next one, which makes it easier for them to remember, which is the visual part. And let me give you a statistic when it comes to the visual part. 30% of the 100 billion neurons in our brain are visual neurons. And this is another statistic. It takes an average of 40 milliseconds to process an image, while it takes 140 milliseconds to process a word. It's no coincidence that they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And when McDonald's recently wanted to introduce a $2 for a McChicken, they made it easier on the eye with this visual that you now see on your screen. So, my dear friends, try to make your arguments visual by describing them like you would describe them to a 3-year-old, so that person can become more emotional, which is the next one in the process, which is the emotional part. And with the emotional part, I mean the following. Emotional is primal, my dear friends. People understand all these emotions you will now see on your screen. We need to tap into these emotions. There are many emotions: joy, trust, admiration. What separates a great salesperson from an average salesperson, or a great trusted advisor from an average trusted advisor, is that they understand that they need to tap into what the person will gain by buying their product or service. That's the value. What I will pay is more than the price of the product, or what people will lose out by not gaining the product. For example, if there is an application that will help me dictate what I'm saying and then have everything transcribed, it's much easier for me, which I have a spine problem, rather than trying to tap on my laptop for hours on end. And yes, I bought the application because they made it more emotional for me, and I understood what I will gain or what I will lose out if not doing this. This is what the course is all about. I will ask Melissa to show you again the course if you want to note it down. It's by Patrick Renvoise, the Persuasion Code, the Neuroscience of Sales, and you will become better salespeople. You will become better trusted advisors. You will become better human beings by going into what Daniel Kahneman called System 1 and System 2, understanding about both brains. If you want to learn more and you want to become better persuaders, then I highly suggest that you buy this book. This is a book that I devoured many years ago by Cialdini. It tells you how to become a master persuader by being honest, by being a true human being without trying to take advantage of other people. And that's the book I highly recommend that you read. And now let's go to our proverb, which is a summary of what we discussed up to now, before I ask Melissa to show us your comments. And the proverb says the following. It's by Antonio Damasio, head of the Neuroscience department at USC. We are not thinking machines that feel. Human beings are feeling machines that think. So tap into those feelings, my dear friends, and you will become a master persuader, or at least a better persuader. So, Melissa, can we see some of the comments and say some good mornings before we move on? Eleni, good morning. Have a nice week as well. Thank you very much, Eleni. Lovely to see you here. Nikki, congratulations for winning. If you haven't seen it and you just came in, you are our winner, if I'm not mistaken, of the Standup, Standout online course. Melissa said yes, so you are the one. Fori, how's London, my dear friend? I'll be coming soon at UCL. Hopefully, we will have our speech this year, and we get to meet in person as well. I think I've made it live this time. Good morning. Looking forward to it. Communication and Influence by Vijay. Vijay, thank you for following our work. And please do share this episode, dear friends and fans. Kalimera Antonia, good morning. Great to have you here. Nadia Themis, all the way from London. 14th of June, you'll be in Cyprus. I got your message. We'll have a coffee together. Thank you for brightening my day as well. Giorgio Anu, that's why people also pass through ads in our subconscious ideas, correct? Through pictures. Great. So, my dear friends and fans, I thought you read the book. Great. I want to say a big thank you to all of you for tuning in. I want to say also a huge thank you to Melissa for organizing everything and helping me with the research. And thank you, Melissa. Thank you to all. Have a great week